The vibrant atmosphere of Cinco de Mayo, a celebration of Mexican-American culture, filled the air in Glendale, Arizona. Families and friends gathered at El Camarón Gigante restaurant, ready to enjoy an evening of food, music, and camaraderie. The festive mood, however, was shattered by the sound of gunfire. What began as a night of joyous celebration transformed into a scene of chaos and tragedy. In the blink of an eye, the restaurant's lively ambiance was replaced by the chilling sounds of screams and the echoing blasts of gunshots. The events that unfolded on that fateful night would leave an enduring scar on the Glendale community. The restaurant, usually bustling with activity and the enticing aromas of Mexican cuisine, became a place of fear and uncertainty. As the echoes of gunshots faded, a chilling realization swept through the crowd. This was not a celebratory firework, but a terrifying reality. The festive music came to an abrupt halt, replaced by the panicked cries of people desperately seeking safety. In those heart-wrenching moments, the true cost of the violence began to unfold. At approximately 7:45 p.m., chaos erupted. Multiple shooters opened fire inside El Camarón Gigante, transforming a scene of joyous celebration into a terrifying nightmare. The deafening sound of gunshots ripped through the air, sending shockwaves of fear and panic through the crowd. Diners who moments ago were laughing and enjoying their meals dove for cover, seeking refuge beneath tables or desperately trying to escape the hail of bullets. Families were separated in the pandemonium, parents frantically searching for their children and friends clinging to each other, their faces etched with terror. The air, once filled with the enticing aromas of Mexican spices and lively music, now reeked of gunpowder and was punctuated by the piercing cries of the wounded. The festive decorations that adorned the restaurant, meant to symbolize joy and celebration, now hung amidst the chaos, a stark reminder of the innocence lost. As the initial shock subsided, a chilling realization gripped those trapped inside the restaurant. They were in the midst of a mass shooting. Eyewitnesses described the scene as a war zone. An unnamed woman who had been enjoying the festivities with her family recounted the horrifying experience to local news. "We heard a loud bang, and at first I thought it was fireworks," she said, her voice trembling. "Then we saw people running, screaming, and realized it was gunshots." She described diving under a table with her children, shielding their bodies with her own as bullets flew through the air. "It felt like an eternity," she whispered, her eyes welling up. "I just kept praying that we would make it out alive." Another witness, a young man who had been working as a busboy at the restaurant, recounted the chaos and his desperate attempts to help others. "I saw a man lying on the floor bleeding heavily," he said, his voice shaking. "I grabbed some napkins to try and stop the bleeding, but it was too late." He described the scene as a nightmare, with injured people scattered across the floor and the air thick with the smell of blood. "I'll never forget the look in their eyes," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. "The fear, the pain, the desperation." Within minutes, the first responders arrived at El Camarón Gigante, their sirens wailing as they navigated through the panicked crowd. The scene that greeted them was nothing short of horrific. The restaurant, once a place of celebration, was now a chaotic scene of blood, shattered glass, and overturned furniture. The air was thick with the smell of gunpowder, and the piercing cries of the wounded echoed through the streets. Paramedics rushed to triage the injured, their faces grim as they assessed the severity of the situation. As news of the shooting spread, a wave of shock and disbelief washed over Glendale. The city, known for its vibrant community and family-friendly atmosphere, struggled to comprehend the senseless violence that had unfolded within its borders. The shooting, which took place on Cinco de Mayo, a day of celebration and cultural pride, only deepened the sense of tragedy and loss. The community gathered, united in grief and disbelief, as they anxiously awaited updates from law enforcement and prayed for the victims and their families. Section 5. Cinco de Mayo, a celebration marred by violence. The shooting at El Camarón Gigante cast a dark shadow over what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. Cinco de Mayo, a day commemorating the Mexican Army's victory over French forces at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, is a celebration of Mexican-American culture and heritage. It is a day for families and communities to come together, to celebrate their shared history, and to honor their traditions. However, the tragic events of that night transformed this day of celebration into a day of mourning. The shooting served as a stark reminder of the gun violence epidemic that continues to plague the United States. It highlighted the vulnerability of communities even in the midst of celebration, and the devastating impact that gun violence has on innocent lives. The tragedy sparked renewed calls for stricter gun control measures, and reignited the debate over how to prevent such senseless acts of violence from happening again. Section 6. The investigation unfolds, searching for answers. In the aftermath of the shooting, the Glendale Police Department launched a full-scale investigation to determine the motive behind the attack and bring the perpetrators to justice. The restaurant, declared a crime scene, was cordoned off as forensic teams meticulously combed through the wreckage, searching for clues. Investigators interviewed witnesses, reviewed surveillance footage, and followed every lead in pursuit of those responsible for the carnage. Officer Maroni Menendez, the public information officer for the Glendale Police Department, addressed the media, assuring the public that law enforcement was working tirelessly to piece together the events of that night. "This is a complex investigation and we are committed to leaving no stone unturned," stated Officer Menendez. "We are pursuing every lead and are determined to bring those responsible for this horrific act to justice." He urged anyone with information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, to come forward and assist with the investigation. The community, eager for answers and justice, rallied behind the police department, offering their support and cooperation in the hopes of bringing closure to this tragedy. Section 7. Community Impact. Glendale grapples with tragedy. The shooting at El Camarón Gigante sent shockwaves through Glendale and beyond. The community, known for its strong bonds and vibrant cultural diversity, grappled with the emotional toll of the tragedy. Vigils were held, with candles flickering in the night as residents gathered to mourn the victims, offer prayers for the injured, and seek solace in each other's company. The outpouring of support extended beyond Glendale, with messages of condolences and offers of assistance pouring in from across the state and the nation. Community leaders, religious figures, and elected officials came together to offer words of comfort and support. They spoke of unity, resilience, and the importance of coming together as a community to heal from this tragedy. Mental health services were made available to those affected by the shooting, providing a safe space for individuals to process their trauma and begin the long journey of healing. The community, though deeply wounded, demonstrated remarkable strength and compassion in the face of adversity. Section 8. The Long Road to Healing. Support and Resilience. In the wake of the tragedy, the Glendale community faced the daunting task of healing and rebuilding. The physical scars of the shooting, the bullet holes and shattered glass, would eventually be repaired. However, the emotional and psychological scars would take much longer to heal. The community, determined to emerge from this tragedy stronger than before, rallied around the victims and their families, offering unwavering support. Support funds were established to assist the victims with medical expenses and other financial burdens. Therapists and counselors offered their services pro bono, providing much-needed emotional support to those grappling with the trauma of that night. The community organized events and activities aimed at fostering healing and unity, reminding everyone that even in the darkest of times, hope and resilience could prevail. The road to recovery would be long and arduous, but the Glendale community, bound by their shared grief and unwavering spirit, faced the challenge with courage and determination. Section 9. Conclusion. Remembering the victims, seeking justice. The shooting at El Camarón Gigante serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of gun violence. It shattered lives, tore families apart, and left an enduring scar on the Glendale community. As the investigation continues, the community holds on to the hope that justice will be served, and that those responsible for this senseless act of violence will be held accountable. Yet, amidst the grief and the anger, there is also a profound sense of resilience. The victims of the shooting will never be forgotten. Their memories will forever be etched in the hearts of their loved ones and the community they called home. Their stories serve as a poignant reminder of the preciousness of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. The Glendale community, though forever changed by the tragedy, will continue to honor their memory by working towards a future where such senseless acts of violence are a relic of the past. The journey towards healing and creating a safer, more peaceful world continues, fueled by the memory of those lost and the unwavering hope for a brighter tomorrow.